Hey everyone, it's Lindsay Hoffman and welcome to the Dose of Bliss show where I bring amazing people to you to share their daily doses of bliss. Today I have actress and model Pamela Jean Moore. Yay! Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know you, can you first go a little bit into what they may know you from?
So I've been on Fuel TV, CMT, Bravo, a lot of modeling campaigns. So I'm all kind of over the place. I've done a lot in the last 10 to 15 years.
You've done like amazing things and we were talking about this, you've redefined your career so many times. You know, how do you go about doing that? Because a lot of people will want to do more than one thing in their life, but they feel stuck to a desk like, oh, I am this, I have to be this rest of my life. But you're someone who is, you think it and you be it, you know? You want to be a model, you're a model. You want to be an actress, you're an actress. Whatever you want to do, you do. So how have you gone about that and gotten that confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just it happened, but I also went with it too, where a lot of people, I think they feel like they have to stay in a super defined role or obviously are scared to go out of their certain mindset or what they're comfortable with. But I started modeling, never thought I was going to be a model, first of all, ever. I had always done acting, just kind of fell in my lap and was one of these things where I was offered a photo shoot for a really amazing magazine and things just kind of took off. So I started my first big modeling job after that was with the company Tap Out, which if anybody knows MMA, it's a huge martial arts clothing line. So after that, it seemed like I literally modeled for every action sports company, clothing company that you could think of. So I did like Solon, Skin, O'Neill, all these different ones, No Fear, that were huge at that time when I started doing everything. But I feel like it can only take you so far, especially action sports modeling. And there's obviously a time frame with it. You know, like I was, 19 to 22 when I was doing all this, which is kind of the age frame that they're looking for. And I kind of transitioned into fitness because I knew at the end of the day that there's a shelf life and there's going to be somebody that's 19 that's going to come along and it's going to be the next up and coming action sports model, whatever you want to call it. And I needed to figure out what I could do that has a longevity in it. So I, switched to fitness, and then I saw certain things in that aspect that I didn't feel so in tune with, I guess, that lifestyle anymore, and basically switched into fashion and beauty. So it's just been one of these things that it just, I saw things that I wanted to change and I just went with it.
I see that as like really bold and brave as well, because
Thank you.
Weren't like, there's some people who are, I want to be a model, I want to be an actress, and they'll stay in situations that maybe aren't the best for them.
Yeah.
And you notice something in the fitness space or in different spaces where you're like, this doesn't align with my happiness. What is your advice to recognize that and not be afraid? Because a lot of people will be afraid to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been pretty honest. I feel like I need to do more video stuff because I don't. I do a lot of pictures and things like that, but I try to be pretty honest with people. With the fitness industry, I just started to see that when I did shows and different things like that, they were constantly trying to take it to the next level, which is great. But I felt like people weren't being honest with their followers. So people are looking up to these people who are doing 2 to 3 hours of cardio and being calorie deficient. And, afterwards you have this huge thing with your thyroid where you're gaining tons of weight after competitions. And I just felt like it was so unhealthy and people just weren't being honest about it. Like, it's great if you're motivating somebody, but at the same time, if you're doing 3 hours of cardio a day and only eating 1,200 calories, you need to tell those people that's why you look that way, So I just felt like it was becoming something that was not being truthful, and I just didn't want to be associated with that because I was having my own like binge eatings after competitions that it wasn't good. I never had those problems before. So I wanted to do something that I could feel good about at the end of the day.
Were you afraid when you changed again at all? Like, what am I going to do with my life, or what's going to happen?
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I had done so much with I was always at the LA Fit Expo and Orange County Fit Expo and, working with supplement companies. So it's hard when you're used to something and it's comfortable for you. But I like doing fashion now. It's kind of one of those things. Same thing, never thought I was going to do it. And same thing with like beauty products, never thought I was going to do it. But I think there's also something kind of relatable about me, that I'm not this huge makeup influencer that knows how to do my makeup like a makeup artist every single day. You know, like I do what I think looks good, and I'm sure there's going to be a makeup artist that makes fun of my techniques or whatever, but at least I can sit there and be proud that I'm willing to put it out there.
I think your makeup looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And your hair. I was complimenting your whole like ensemble, all of you today. Like I need that for me. But I think that's also like a huge thing that you said too, is some people want to do beauty and makeup and all of those things, and they'll tell themselves, oh, I'm not a makeup artist, I can't do it, or oh, I'm not a beauty guru, or I'm not at that level, so I can't do it. But you were like, no, like what makes me like relatable and what people want to see from me is because I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another thing with the beauty industry is people are so like critical and they're so like hard on other people. I mean, I've been to beauty industry events and it's just I feel like I don't fit into events when I go anyways, because I'm just a girl that grew up in Fontana, and, you know, I've obviously grown and done different things, but that's still who I am. And I think people get this thing in their head that they're just so much better than other people. And I don't like that. But I just think there's this sort of judgment. And obviously that's not everybody in beauty or fashion, but there's this judgment that you like have to look your best, or we're going to talk about other people. And I just don't see why it's like that, especially in today's day and age. Like, I mean, kids, I can't even imagine. I feel bad for my poor unborn child that like
your baby is going to learn from you.
Thank you. But it's like the judgment nowadays, it's like, why do we need that? You know, just, you know, if you are happy with yourself, why do you care about what somebody else is
Exactly.
doing?
And how do you deal with that? Because you were in all of those things. So you've had to, I mean, you have to deal with judgment, especially with modeling, where people have a look that they want. They're literally judging how you look.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it, I don't let things get to me. I'm not even going to try to sit here and pretend I don't get that much like hate on almost anything I do. Obviously there's always going to be somebody that has something to say behind their computer, but I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of fans / followers that support me. But I think a lot of it is that I put everything out there. So it's like, I'm married. I don't try to hide my husband. When we were dating, I didn't try to hide him. I know a lot of models try to do that because they want to keep their male followers. Like, to me, it's just not worth it. You know, like if you don't want to follow me because I have my husband, then just don't follow me. It's not that big of a deal, you know? And the same thing with now that I'm pregnant, like I put it out there the moment that we wanted to announce it to our family, because to me, there's no reason that I'm going to hide it from everybody else just to get a couple more modeling gigs until I start showing. You know, it's just one of those things like take it or leave it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't sit there on my phone every single day just scrolling to see what people are saying. It's like, you know, there's going to be somebody that you like better, and that's fine.
Where does this confidence come from?
You know, I don't know. I think when I was younger, I used to compare myself to a lot of models a lot. And I think, I mean, I personally saw it in a one-on-one situation. There was a model that was constantly doing like everything that I wanted to be doing, and with her high school sweetheart, and just like one of those stories that's like what is wrong with your life? You know, it's one of those things you're just constantly comparing. And basically heard a story, and she had, you know, cheated on her high school sweetheart, and it was with some high up in a company, and just things to like basically get further in her career. And I remember sitting back at that moment, I think I was 22 or 23, and I was just like, so it's not worth it. Like that, to me, that's not worth it. You know, like you can have all these modeling jobs if you want it. I wouldn't do that to try to get further. So why compare myself to these people? Because you just don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You know, like at the end of the day, I will take a happy marriage over a job any day, you know? So I just think there's no reason to basically burden yourself with this constant, like trying to get the next best thing or be the next big thing or whatever it may be, because there's always going to be somebody doing something more than you. I mean, the top actress, there's going to be somebody who comes along a year later. So why just I guess, kill your mood with that all the time.
And because those things are never really gonna make you happy. You're only gonna be happy if you are happy.
Exactly. And you need to be happy with yourself.
Yeah, because you can have $1 million, you can have the best job, you can be at the top, but if you're not happy, you're just not happy. Period.
Exactly. I mean, you see it with so many actors. It's so sad, but with, the suicides or overdoses and different things, and you think that their life is perfect, and there's people who compared themselves to those people, and it's just, you never know what's going on. So just, work on yourself and don't worry what other people are doing. And I think that's the other thing that people don't get with this industry is not everybody is like that, but there are a lot of people who have done things to get further in their career. And, bless the ones that have taken the harder road to get there. But you can't look at everybody and just think like, why are they there? Because you don't know the story. And maybe if you knew the story, you wouldn't want to be in there.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to, because I have to recheck myself the same way every day too. And you have to think about, well, what am I happy with my life? Am I happy for myself? Or am I sad because I'm thinking about society, what society wants of me,
Definitely. I mean, I think that's a big deal, is look at your life at the end of the day and did you have to screw over people to get where you are or where you're sitting, or did you, always put your family first, or, just different things that can make you feel so much happier in your own situation if you actually think about the smaller things. It's I know people with tons of money, and I also know what they've done to their significant others. And I am proud to say that I don't want their lives, because it's just one of those things where my husband doesn't have to worry anything, and I don't have to worry anything about my husband.
Yeah, it's priceless. You can't get that with anything else.
Yeah.
And you're going to attract to work with the right people around you, because people respect that. I feel like there's kind of a shift sort of happening where people are appreciating people being authentic and putting their health and wellness first and their happiness first. And it goes back to what we initially were talking about, is recreating yourself. It's not really completely recreating yourself. It's making a world that works for you, that makes you happy, not the other way around, being what somebody else wants you to be, or being worried, what is someone going to think if I change my career? Are they still going to want to work with me? Whatever questions that people have, you're not afraid to do that.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing is I've, especially in this past year, I created my nonprofit, and I have been on a huge thing. It's what are you doing this for if you're not doing anything with it? So that's why I wanted to create my nonprofit, was because I feel like if you have a platform and you're not doing anything with it, or you're not trying to share something you're passionate about, then I hate to say it, but it's kind of like you're a waste of space, because you've been given something to hopefully change the world somehow in some small way, even if it's a couple people, and you're not doing anything with it. So that's why I created Noble Critters, because I just feel I want to make sure at the end of the day I can go to bed sleeping with, I'm doing something to try to make the world a better place and save some animals.
So is that where you see yourself going the next, phase of your life, working more with nonprofits and animals? And
So Noble Critters just launched September 24th. So we have a lot of work to do and grow it, and it's going to take time. And I know that everything takes time. So I'm definitely that's going to be my focus. I have some nonprofits that I've worked with in the past, but I want to make sure that, the one that I'm putting all this time and energy into is going to be successful. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too. And working with now creating your nonprofit, what does that feel like? I like to talk about the energy behind it. How does that feel different than when you're doing, modeling stuff? Do you feel different sorts of alignments? Obviously, everything has their perfect balance. But does it feel different when you're knowing that what you're doing is kind of helping so many people?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels different. I mean, the difference between modeling and a nonprofit is there's a lot of paperwork with a nonprofit. And I remember the day we did our basically launch shoot, which was going to launch basically the whole idea of it. But everybody that came volunteered, because that was my big thing, is that if I'm going to make a nonprofit, it's not going to be so I take a paycheck or the board members take a paycheck. It's going to be so that way 100% of the profits go towards these animal sanctuaries. So I had probably 20 people between models, photographers, all these different things that volunteer their time. And that meant so much to me, because I feel like that's so rare nowadays that most of the time it's what am I going to get out of it? You know?
Well, it's because you're a good person. You attract that to you,
Thank you so much. But it was, I just remember crying at the end of the shoot, and I thanked everybody. And it was just one of those things where it was like, I've been up so late every single night, you know, and filling out so much paperwork. And once you think the paperwork's done, then you get something else that you have to file, you know, and it was just one of those moments where it was like, this is why it was all worth it, you know, when you were up till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes just trying to get this done and figure it out. It's not like I had done it before. It just makes you feel good about what you're doing and that it was all worth it.
So you've started everything on your own, and I love how you give proof, like examples of how you didn't even know how to do a nonprofit, but you were just brave enough to be like, I'm just going to figure it out. So through everything that you've been through, what's the biggest lesson you've learned?
I mean, I think it's just be true to yourself, right? I mean, I think a lot of people feel like they have to be something, like they have to be wealthy, they have to have this house, they have to drive this car, whatever it may be. And you don't always need that stuff, you know, and sometimes people get it and then they're not that happy, you know? So I think be true to yourself, and then what are you doing at the end of the day to change something, you know? I mean, I'm never going to change every single person's mind about animals or what they eat or what they wear, but I know at the end of the day, there's one person, you know, within the next few months that's going to hear what I'm saying, and they're going to want to make a difference, and they're going to want to change things. So what are you doing to do that? You know, I mean, it could be giving food to a homeless person or donating your clothes, you know, just there's tons of different things that we could all be doing, and make sure that you're one of those people that's doing something.
Yeah. One of those people like you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we only have a few minutes left, so before we tell everybody where they can follow you, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
Well, I'm 19 weeks pregnant, so
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, that's the next journey that I'm going to be on. So, I mean, if everybody wants to see what I'm doing, I definitely want to film a video with that, because I feel like there's so much I did not know about pregnancy. And I feel like women, we're gonna have this amazing blessing at the end of it, but women try to make everything sound like roses and peaches and it's all gravy. And I wish my friends were more honest about it, because I'm like, why am I exhausted? Why do I feel like crap? All these different things. So I really want to make a video about that, and same thing, just let the honesty out about it. And you know, I think that's another thing that'll help people, because I just remember the first 12 to 13 weeks, I was miserable because of all the different symptoms I had. I barely could eat. I maybe had a glass of water a day. So that's going to be probably the next journey that
learning
I can
how to maneuver that, the next thing of life where you're like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing yet, but
and be honest about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think you're going to be a wonderful mom, and you're going to teach all these amazing things that you were telling me about, and you have a wonderful energy.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm sure everybody watching will feel that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing your story and coming on the show today. Can you let everyone know where they can find you?
Yeah, so I'm actually really easy. I'm at Pamela Jean Noble on everything, so it's really easy to find
Go
me.
follow her, go check her out, and where can they find your nonprofit?
So we're Noble Critters, so my last name and then Critters, and that's the same thing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And I'll link everything below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As you know, my show airs every Thursday on YouTube, and if you want to watch them before they come out, you can binge them on the EverTalk TV app. I've linked it all below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.